Hello, I'm Benjamin Limmer, Bureau Chief for Public Transportation at the Connecticut Department of Transportation. And I'd like to welcome you to Along the Lines, a podcast series where we'll share exciting news and updates and explore current issues and ideas on Connecticut's public transportation system. 2024 was a banner year for Metro-North service as well as the New Haven line. On-time performance reached record highs, customer satisfaction continues to climb, and ridership steadily increases more and more customers return to public transportation. Major infrastructure improvements have also led to faster, more efficient rail service, including peak travel time reductions and the fastest run time between New Haven to Grand Central Terminal in generations. That travel time is now down to just 90 minutes. As one of the busiest rail lines in the country, the New Haven line is a vital connection between Connecticut, Westchester County, and New York City, with additional service on its 3 branches to and from Waterbury, Danbury, as well as New Canaan. Joining me today are my colleagues, Catherine Rinaldi, the recently retired president of MTA Metro-North Railroad, as well as Justin Vonashek, who is the current president of Metro-North, to talk about record-breaking on-time performance, customer satisfaction, but also what's in store for Metro-North in the future, as well as the New Haven line. Welcome to the program, both of you, Kathy and Justin.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Kathy, going to start with you. Before we dive in, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate you on your recent retirement. And I can say, as somebody who's been with ConnDOT for 2 years, just thank you for everything you've done for me, as well as, helping me with my own professional transition. Then, of course, on behalf of all the customers and stakeholders in Connecticut, we truly appreciate your unwavering leadership, steady hand to deliver the best commuter rail service in the country and beyond. So, looking back on your 7 years as president of Metro-North, what are some of your many things that you got done that you are most proud of?
So thanks, Ben. First I want to just thank you for inviting me here today. My retirement is very bittersweet, and I think part of the reason for that is the friendships and collaboration that I've enjoyed over the years. And, CDOT's at the top of that list, right? I've really enjoyed working with you, with your predecessor, Rich Andreski, with, Commissioner Ucolito and Commissioner Joe Giletti before him. I feel like we've really, really built up a very, very strong partnership with respect to the delivery of rail service in the state of Connecticut. And it's one of the things that I'm really, really proud of as I, leaving in this position and doing whatever comes next. So just want to thank you for your support and your partnership. So what am I proud of? I think, the New Haven line is Metro-North's busiest line by far. And we've been challenged with respect to reliable service along the New Haven line over the years, right? So, lots of speed restrictions, lots of track work, to make up for lost time. In the early years of my presidency, on-time performance really, suffered and was not where we wanted it to be. So I'm really, really proud of the efforts of the Metro-North team in turning things around, both from a reliability perspective and also from a customer service perspective. So as you said, last year, New Haven line on-time performance was over 98%. The year before, it was almost 98%. The year before that, it was almost 97%, right? So it's been ticking upward every year, but it's, going in the right direction, and we really have extraordinary record-breaking reliability of our service. And that's been something that I think has been really instrumental in bringing more and more customers back to the system. And then I guess the other thing about the New Haven line service is, it's really, it goes in both directions, right? It's not just people getting on the train and, Stamford in the morning to go down to the city. There's a lot of people who get on, at stations a little bit further south to travel to job opportunities in Connecticut. So whether it's, Greenwich or Stamford or Norwalk or Bridgeport or beyond, I mean, we really are the economic driver, and we enable a lot of economic activity in the state of Connecticut. And, that's been really key to our post-COVID ridership recovery. And, we're really happy that we can be part of the Connecticut economy and be such a driver of economic activity within the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, thank you for that. You mentioned busy. The New Haven line's getting busier, but
Yeah.
you yourself have been very busy. And I know at one point you oversaw not one, but two of the busiest rail systems in the country. So what leadership advice would you like to impart for anyone in the transportation industry or even people serving industries?
Well, I mean, I think that's an interesting question with Justin being on the line, because I think that one of the things that was really necessary for me to be able to be even moderately successful in both positions was having a strong team behind me at Metro-North where I felt like I could delegate really important stuff to and know that it would be done and be done well. So, when I was the interim president of Long Island, in addition to my Metro-North responsibilities, Long Island got a lot of love because we were in the process of trying to deliver it's now called the Grand Central Madison service. This is the service from Long Island into Grand Central. So getting that project done was a huge focus of my time during that almost 2-year period. So, I wasn't able to spend as much time at Metro-North as I had previously, right? Because I had 2 jobs. So knowing that I had Justin there in his capacity, with his strong leadership skills, it made me feel like, the railroad was in very good hands. So I think empowering, surrounding yourself with good people and empowering those people to be successful, I think, is a really important part of being a leader anywhere.
Yes, absolutely. The strong team is the key ingredient here. So Justin, got to know you quite a bit over the last 2 years, obviously working with you on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today. So I wanted to talk to you about, as you stepped into the role as president, we'd love to hear more about your professional journey. Can you share a bit about what your career background is and your experience at Metro-North leading up to your new position?
Yeah, of course. Again, thank you for having me. So about 20 years ago, I started my career at Metro, which is the commuter railroad in Chicago. I started off as an assistant train master, went through the conductor trainee program with all the other conductors, basically learned the craft from the ground up. So then I moved on to full-time train master, did that for some time, and then I saw an opportunity to be in charge of the schedules and services for the operation. So it was a really good opportunity for me. Metro has 11 lines, so there was a lot to learn, and it helped guide me to where I'm at today. From there, I went on to leading the regulatory compliance group for Metro. And at that time, it was following RISA in 2008. So there was a lot of regulations coming out, passenger hours of service, train crew size. So it was there was a lot of activity going on at that time. So that really positioned me for my role after that, which was going to be in Boston. I had the opportunity to move there, work for Keolis, who was taking over the operation from MBCR to run the commuter rail in Boston. And I was the chief safety, security, emergency preparedness, and regulatory compliance officer. So basically all my skills that I learned in Metro, I was able to utilize in Boston. So I was there for a couple of years, worked through the greatest snowstorm ever in Boston. After that, I figured it was time to get out of there. So there was an opportunity at Metro-North. So I took the opportunity and became vice president system safety. Did that for 5 years, and then from there, we had some transition in the organization. So I moved on to the head of operations, and then most recently with Kathy's retirement, president, beginning April 1st. So long journey, a lot of different positions, but I think it positioned me well for this job right now.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring a 360-degree view to the table with all the hats that you've worn running railroads throughout the country. So excited, and the customers of all of the rail lines of Metro-North should also be excited. So want to talk about hitting the ground running. I know that you will. Um, so, what does the beginning look like? Some people say the first 100 days. So, let's take a look at your first 100 days. What does that look like? And what are your goals for the future of Metro North? Because 99% on time performance, there's not a lot of room there. So, kind of big picture, what's on the table?
Yeah, so I mean, I think right now we have a unique opportunity. A lot of times when the presidents change, somebody new comes from the outside. I've had the benefit of working for, learning from, having Kathy as a mentor for her entire time as president. So that's really helped me tremendously. So it's not so much as we're starting new and it's a new 100-day plan. Really, it's maintaining the momentum that Kathy's created, right? And that's really what we're going to do. We've been working on a new strategic plan, a new vision for us. The last one expired, so we're looking to kick that off here shortly. So that will really take us through the first 90 days. And really, that vision takes us to our 50th anniversary in 2033. We're coining it the road to gold. So a lot more information is going to come out on that, but that's really where our focus is going to be in the next 90 days or so. But in terms of goals, it's really just maintaining what we've been doing, right? Working to increase the run times. As you know very well, we've been working extremely hard on the super expresses, right? So we've never had a train up until the last one that ran from New Haven to GCT in 90 minutes or less. So we had our first one this past schedule change. Now we're positioned with the March 30th schedule change to have 5 of the 6 trains running from New Haven to GCT or vice versa in 90 minutes or less. That's a first for Metro-North. That's a first for CDOT. That's huge to our customers, especially those coming out of New Haven. When you look at some of those trip times from New Haven, it could be upwards of 2 hours. So to be able to shave 30 minutes in each direction off for customers, that's an hour back to them to do whatever they like, right? So they could spend time with their families, do special extracurricular activities, whatever it may be, an hour back every day. So if you just do the math, 5 hours a week, that's a ton of time back to our customers. So that's something we're really excited about. We want to continue maintaining that safe and reliable service that we provide to our customers. I mean, that's huge. And then, we have a lot of nice, new, fun things for our customers, our employees, the rail fans. We just recently released a New Haven wrap that everybody loves on the 222. This year, I guess I would say breaking news here is we've always, in the past, we've done open houses on the H&H side in Harmon, right? One of our other 3 lines. This year in 2025, we're looking to hold an open house for our employees and customers in New Haven. So this is a first, right? So it's something very exciting for our customers, our employees, and we're looking forward to these things. So those are some of the goals for the upcoming year.
Awesome. As are we, looking forward to hosting that event in 2025, no doubt. So I mentioned it at the beginning of the last question, but wanted to talk a little bit about on-time performance. A lot of customers don't think about it until a train's late, right? But just being on time is critically important to customer satisfaction. So last year you reached an all-time high above 98%, as you mentioned. It's also the 5th consecutive year that on-time performance was greater than 97% overall. OTP, as they often call it, on the New Haven line was 98.2%. Can you give us insight into the behind-the-scenes hard work and dedication from your team and how they achieve this level of reliability every train, every time? What steps are being taken to push on-time performance records even further?
So I can start and then I'll hand off to Justin. So I would say two things come to mind when you ask that question. I think the first thing really relates to the intensive infrastructure program that's been in place on the New Haven line over the course of the last, 7, 8, 9 years to really address longstanding, track and other issues, related to the aging infrastructure. And that allows us to eliminate areas where we used to have to, go slower, which, is of assistance in terms of getting the railroad running better. And then the other thing that I would say, and I think Justin could probably speak to this in more detail, is we've gotten a lot more analytical with respect to how we put our schedules together and understanding, where there are opportunities for us to get people where they want to go more quickly and more reliably. I think that's borne out by what Justin just indicated about the Super Expresses and how successful those have been. We've really tried to be much more sort of data driven with respect to putting our schedules together as a way of enhancing the reliability of the service. And I think, the numbers really kind of bear that out. It's been a very successful strategy. But maybe I'll turn the mic over to Justin so he can speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy's exactly right. So, everybody always talks about measuring what matters, right? So that's what we do. But it's also about managing what matters. So it's not as if we're 98.2 this year and we want to break another record, so we're going to try to get to 98.3, 98.4. What these numbers really tell us is how well we're managing the operation. We report on these numbers, people focus on these numbers, and we understand why. But we really manage the operation day to day. When we have issues, we're not looking at, was it one delay or two delays or zero delays? We're looking for where are those opportunities to improve the operation on a daily basis, and then the numbers will fall where they were. And again, it's really based on how well we're managing the operation. So we're using a lot of different tools, things we've never done before. We're looking at on-time departures, right? So for a train to arrive on time, it needs to leave on time. So if trains are getting out 1, 2, 3 minutes late, these are the things we're starting to look at, right? Because there's real opportunity there. If we could start to get trains out on time that are typically a couple minutes behind, that improves our opportunity to ensure that train arrives on time. So these are some of the things we're looking at. But again, we're not managing the OTP number. It's really about managing the operation from an operational standpoint, from a safety standpoint, customer satisfaction standpoint. This is what we're focused on, and the numbers are what they are.
Perfect segue, because I did want to talk about customer satisfaction. I know recent reports has outlined how customer satisfaction rates have also continued to climb. I think the stat I saw was 84% of customers being either very satisfied or satisfied with the service. I know that you all have done some very targeted efforts to improve customer satisfaction. Definitely want to hear about those. What does the data say to you, and how do we ensure that we keep the positive momentum of increasing overall customer satisfaction rates?
I mean, really what it tells us is our customers want to give us feedback, right? We're seeing really good response rates for these surveys, which means that our customers care and they want us to listen, right? So when you look at the numbers going back to spring of 22, we're consistently in the mid to high 80s for customer satisfaction, which quite frankly, anybody in the service industry would understand those numbers are extremely hard to achieve just once, and to do it consistently shows how well the team is doing. But it's really listening to the feedback, right? So one of the areas that we were struggling with was our restrooms, right? Both stations and onboard. So we came up with a new program, basically with a QR code. Now we have QR codes in all of our bathrooms at stations, and we're putting it on all the bathrooms on the rolling stock for our customers to give us feedback. So do we need to adjust how we clean stations? Are the hours? Do we need to add additional staffing? So it's really responding to the feedback that our customers give us, right? Because if they're giving us feedback, we need to listen if we expect that constant feedback from our customers, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, awesome. Great to hear. I know I have myself seen the QR codes in the bathrooms when riding Metro-North. I thought it was a very strategic way to improve on what the customers were saying that they wanted to see. I do want to switch gears a little bit to ridership. So, ridership is continuing to climb. increasing year after year following the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you talk about what trends you've seen recently in ridership patterns, and what are your expectations, or maybe looking into the crystal ball, what are your, what do you see in the future? Kathy, probably start with you and then hand it to Justin.
Sure. So, over the course of the last several months, I would say maybe since Labor Day of 2024, we've seen a pretty healthy return to our travel into Manhattan. I think more and more employers are calling their employees back into the office. Mondays are becoming busier. Right after the pandemic, it tended to be that, we were kind of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday railroad, and Mondays and Fridays were quite quiet. Fridays remain quiet, but Mondays are actually getting busier. So we are seeing more people travel, 4 days of the week, and that's kind of borne out by our ridership numbers. We're now, around 80% during the week. The other bright spot, I think, in our ridership really, for the past 5 years, really since the pandemic, has been, first the stability within discretionary riders, and now upticks in discretionary riders. And when I say that, I mean people who are riding not to go to work, but to go to the doctor or go see their family, or for any number of reasons. At least initially in the pandemic, we thought that those people would be the last people to come back. But in fact, we were very happy to see that ridership remains strong and continues to be strong, now 5 years after the beginning of the pandemic. So, certain weekends, certain times of the year, we're actually carrying more people on the weekends than we did back in 2019. We saw a lot of really healthy ridership, over the holidays. Fall is a big season for us. We carry a lot of people in the fall because people want to see the leaves on the weekend. So, we think discretionary ridership, there's still opportunity for growth there. And, I think by continuing to provide the reliable service that we've been talking about, it becomes more, a choice that people make, that this is the best way to get around the region, get out of their car on 95, get into the train. It's a much more pleasant experience, whether you're traveling to work or traveling to see your kids or your doctor or whoever else you might be going to see.
Oh, that's great. Justin, ridership.
Yeah, not a lot more to add there. We're just hoping for just to continue with that trend, right? If you look at 95, anybody in Connecticut, there's really no reason to be on 95 when you have the opportunity to ride Metro-North. So hopefully all those people get sick of sitting in traffic and figure out Metro-North is the best way to travel.
That's right. The best view of 95 is not from inside your car. It's from inside a Metro-North train. Absolutely. Let's stay on that subject. So, I know Metro-North and the Connecticut DOT worked together to add the New Haven Super Express service, with special trains only making limited stops, New Haven, Bridgeport, Stamford, on the way to Grand Central Terminal during peak travel times. How has this service been received by our customers, and more importantly, why are these specific trains so popular?
So I think one of the reasons these trains are so exceptionally popular is because of the additional time they're now saving, right? So typically in the past, some of these New Haven trains would take upwards of 2 hours or more than that to get from New Haven to the terminal and vice versa. Now we've been able to shave 30 minutes off some of those customers' trip times, and they're able to save an hour, get it back as part of their day to spend time with their families and loved ones and whatever they so choose. So that's one of the main reasons this service is so popular amongst our customers.
Yeah, an extra hour back in your pocket to do with what you want is a huge improvement to people's quality of life, especially, when, not stating the obvious, but on a daily basis, you're awake for only 16, give or take. So that's certainly great news for the customers.
Yeah, I think it's what we talked about earlier, right? It's really having that travel time, 90 minutes or less from New Haven. That is huge. Some of these customers were traveling, again, over 2 hours to get from New Haven to GCT. So again, to be able to shave 30 minutes each direction, it's huge. So we continuously see the ridership increase on these trains, and we're looking for more.
Absolutely. I mean, I've heard from stakeholders who both use the service as well as policymakers in Connecticut. And the question I get is, these things are packed. Why are they so packed? And, questions around capacity. So it's certainly a great problem to have. So let's switch to capital projects. I do want to talk about one project that has garnered a lot of interest, and that's the Penn Station Access Project. So can you give our listeners an update on that project and how that specific project will benefit those of us here in Connecticut?
I can start and hand that over to Justin too. So it's a very exciting project, obviously. I mean, it's going to bring a New Haven line service down through New Rochelle over the Hellgate Bridge into Penn Station. And it involves the construction of 4 new stations in the Bronx that currently don't have commuter rail service. So, there will be some service on opening day from Stamford. So it will link, current New Haven line customers who may want to travel to the west side of Manhattan for one reason or another to Penn Station. But also kind of what I was saying a little while ago about reverse commute. It's going to also provide, tremendous opportunity for those customers who live in those communities in the Bronx to be able to access job opportunities in the state of Connecticut. So, Greenwich or Stamford, I mean, it's really going to be, a game changer for those people, because now you have to take like a bus to another bus to a subway or whatever. It's just not easy to get there from here. So this will be a real game changer for those customers as well. Maybe I'll hand the floor over to Justin to talk a little bit about more what's anticipated and exciting rolling stock announcement from a recent board meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. So recently the board just approved 13 battery AC powered locomotives. So 100% green locomotives are going to be on the New Haven line traveling to Penn Station. So this is a first for Metro-North, and quite frankly, it's a first for North American market. So we will be the first, and I think our customers are going to enjoy this greatly.
Absolutely. Just a follow-up question for those listening who might not be familiar with it can be powered by battery and powered by electricity. Could you maybe talk about the advantages of having a train that can do both?
Yeah, of course. So the New Haven line, for those that don't know, is basically a catenary, right? So it runs on the wire. So we'll be able to run on the wire until we get to Penn, and then we could either continue on the wire or run battery. And there are certain sections within Penn Station that don't have wires. So this would provide an opportunity in those areas to be able to use the battery power rather than the catenary wire. It also allows us to go on the Danbury and the Waterbury where there's no wire, right? So you'd be able to eliminate the diesel locomotives and operate with the battery-powered locomotives on those lines.
Yeah, tremendous amount of operational flexibility that will really serve as many communities throughout Connecticut as possible. So thank you for explaining that. So Kathy, I do want to go back to you once again. Huge congratulations on your retirement. I do want to ask, what's next for you?
So, Ben, I'm still figuring that out. I mean, I don't think I'm quite ready to just kind of pack it in and stay home. But I mean, I do think that the nice thing about leaving this job and potentially doing something else is that ideally the goal is for me to have a little bit more time with my family. This kind of job is a little crazy sometimes, as as Justin can attest to. It can be a little bit unpredictable, and I'm looking forward to having a little bit more of like a normal life, and not necessarily getting the crazy phone calls at 2:00 in the morning. So something's coming, but I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still sort of trying to figure that out.
Hey, good for you. Congratulations once again. And I'd like to close by saying thank you both so very much for your time today. Our guests, Catherine Rinaldi and Justin Vonashek, for taking the time today for this important conversation, which I have no doubt will be of interest to listeners within Connecticut as well as beyond, about Metro-North's New Haven line, as well as the other wonderful things going on with the commuter rail system in our region. So thank you both once again for coming.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for having us.
Metro-North's New Haven line is the cornerstone of the region, fueling economic growth and enhancing the quality of life for all Connecticut residents. As we've heard today, recent improvements have been transformative, but the progress doesn't stop here. Through significant investment in Connecticut's rail infrastructure, we're bringing faster and more reliable service between New Haven, Fairfield County, and New York City, as well as all points in between. New dual-mode locomotives will also expand one-seat ride options for branch line and New York City customers, making travel more seamless than ever. Public transportation investments create a ripple effect, driving economic growth. According to the American Public Transportation Association, every dollar invested in public transit generates $5 in economic value, and $1 billion investment can create 50,000 new jobs. The future of the New Haven line, as well as rail service throughout Connecticut, is brighter than ever. We're excited to continue delivering improvements, and we can't wait to share with you what's next. I'm Ben Limmer. Join us next time for another episode of Along the Lines.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Along the Lines. This is your host, Benjamin Limmer. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe and share.